Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable Madam Nur Hamiza, Program Advisor, Panel Guest Speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Thomas Soseko, Honorable Lecturers and dear students. My name is Farah and I will be MC for today's program. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all here for our talk today titled The Role of Microeconomics and Microeconomics in Development. On behalf of the event committee, I would like to thank you for joining us and express our sincere appreciation for your presence. Universiti Teknologi Mara Cawangan Terengganu and Universitas Negeri Malang, Indonesia collaborated to enhance the knowledge of the webinar participants. This academic collaboration makes it possible for students from Universitas Negeri Malang and students from UiTM Cawangan Terengganu who are interested in economics to impart knowledge to other students. The primary goals of this academic collaboration are to increase engagement among students and to develop an additional inclusive learning environment. Participants in this program include students studying Macroeconomics ECO 162, Microeconomics ECO 211, Principle of Economics ECO 120, and Economics ECO 415 during the October to February 2024 and 2025 semester, which include approximately 639 students. The purpose of this program is to encourage further understanding of the topics covered in the syllabus. It is hoped that through this sharing, students will be able to understand the topic that will be covered and develop a lasting understanding of the 4 subjects in question. The ceremony begins with the prayer to bless it. The ceremony now invites Brother Haji Econ bin Azman to lead the recitation of the prayers.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khalaqul azim, innaka samiun alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim. Ya Allah, Engkaulah yang mempunyai segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kepujian. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Engkaulah yang berhak menerima segala kesyukuran. Memiliki segala pemerintahan. Di tangan Engkau segala kebajikan, kepada Engkaulah kembali segala urusan. Allahumma ya Karimu ya Rahim, limpahkanlah rahmat dan rahimu ke atas program pengajaran kolaborasi pengajaran antara UiTM Cawangan Terengganu dan Universitas Negeri Malang Indonesia yang diadakan pada hari ini. Berkatilah majlis ini dari awal hingga akhirnya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, kami juga memohon perlindungan daripadamu dari segala perkara yang boleh mencacat celakan majlis kami dan daripada segala perkara yang melalaikan kami dari berbuat taat kepadamu. Kepadamu juga kami serah segala urusan kami. Rabbana alaika tawakkalna wa ala ilaika anabna wa alaika al-masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you to Brother Haji Econ for leading us in the dua just now. To continue our program, I am pleased to introduce the moderator for today's program, Mr. Azizul Azhan Hussein. He is a lecturer from the Faculty of Business and Management at UiTM Cawangan Terengganu. Now, it is my honor to introduce our guest speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Thomas Soseko, who is currently serving at Universitas Negeri Malang, Indonesia, and is also a research associate at the Rotasi Institute for Rural Development and Sustainability in Indonesia. Dr. Thomas Soseko holds a Doctor of Philosophy in Economics from the University of Waikato, New Zealand, a Master of Science in Economics from Universitas Gadjah Mada, Indonesia, and Bachelor in Economics from Universitas Andalas, Indonesia. Dr. Thomas Soseko is a highly accomplished academic and professional with an impressive background in economics, specializing in development economics, regional economics, household wealth, poverty, and inequality studies. He has dedicated his career to conducting impactful research, teaching, and contributing to projects that have advanced the understanding of economic development, particularly in rural and regional contexts. His work has been recognized both nationally and internationally. We are truly privileged to have him with us today and truly look forward to hearing his insight on the role of microeconomics and macroeconomics in development, which is a subject of great relevance to all of us. This session now will be handed over to our moderator for discussion titled The Role of Microeconomics and Macroeconomics in Development.
All right, Ms. Farah, thank you very much. I'm Joe Azhan, okay? Most of my students call me Sir Joe. Good morning, Dr. Thomas. Good to see you. I believe your areas of interest are in plenty of anything related to economics. Mostly what I could see from here is that development economics, regional economics, household wealth, poverty, as well as inequality study. And based on your CV saying that you are attached with, what do you call that? Rotasi, okay? Rotasi, I believe that's related to inequality among Indonesians specifically. Is
Yeah,
that
that's correct.
correct,
Yeah,
Thomas?
that's correct.
Okay, you can just call me Joe.
Yo.
Okay. All right, and I believe you also have plenty of publication. From my research, I would say no less than 45, including mostly, what do you call that? Mostly journal articles. Okay, and you run a blogspot.
Oh yeah.
Would be a contribution to people who of general interest in economy. Okay, all right. Shall I
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
proceed then?
Ada blog.
Okay, but by the way, Dr. Thomas, maybe I can bring you up a little bit. We are just 1 hour difference from Java. Is that correct?
Yeah, I
So
am in
right now
Malang now.
in
Yeah.
Terengganu in Malaysia right now is 9:13 a.m. and I believe you must have waken up very early today. Okay, because this is Saturday. This is weekend in Malang, and this is only 8:13. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. It is 8 o'clock
8 o'clock.
in Malang. Yeah,
8 o'clock. And
8:13.
then, okay. By the way, Dr. Thomas, Malaysia, as particularly in Terengganu right now, we are having very heavy rain, monsoon season, and only today, okay, only today the rain has stopped since I would say early morning, a few hours back. So, if you hear any background noise from the weather outside, okay, I guess you have to, uh, we have to ignore that, okay, okay. And now another thing is that I'm not quite sure how many students are from Malang State University. Okay, based on what Miss Farah said just now, I believe that we have, because we are live from two platform. Okay, right now I'm with you from Google Meet, and another one is that we run live from YouTube as well. So I don't have the exact figure. Maybe Miss Farah can help us with that in total numbers of the participants for today. All right, Dr. Thomas, I guess we have a great pleasure to listen to you. And I believe that I myself have plenty of questions to ask you then. You can go ahead. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Joe. Okay, hello everyone. Nice to see you here in this opportunity. Thank you very much for this for arranging this lecture. And yeah, before that, I will tell you about my background. Yeah, that is correct. I run a blog, especially related to the economics, so I can spread the discussion about the economics to the public audience. And then I talk about recent issues in the economics as well as in the social aspect in Indonesia especially. Then yeah, I invited a lot of students from my side, from my university, to attend the lecture. But before I share because I just shared the YouTube channel, I believe they can only join from the YouTube channel. I believe they are now watching the lecture from the YouTube channel, not this Google Meet. Okay, but yeah, I'm not sure, but because this is weekend in Indonesia, we usually go outside with family, and then some students when want to go home to meet the parents, and then yeah, do something else. I'm not sure whether they can join with us today, but it is okay. I can start the discussion. I just got instructions by Miss Aswani. Yeah, Miss Aswani is very good lecturer actually, and then she reached me out about the opportunity to do this lecture. And then thank you very much, Miss Aswani, for the opportunity. I am preparing the presentation, but wait.
Dr. Thomas, are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, I'm still working on the screen.
Sure, no problem. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead. Take your time then.
Yeah. Um,
Miss Farah, do you
okay.
have any input on the figure of people watching or joining the program right now? Maybe you can mention that to us.
Okay. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes, I'm not sure who could. I think yeah, okay, that's much better. Okay, that's a little bit bigger than the just now.
Okay. Please. Okay.
All right, Dr. Thomas, the floor is yours. Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Today's agenda is discussion about the role of microeconomics and macroeconomics in the development. As the chair of the session mentions, I am with the Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Negeri Malang, Indonesia. And I also have another affiliations. It is Rotasi Institute. It is a specialist institute for rural development and sustainability. We work in the rural areas, and then we work on sustainability issues, as well as about the poverty aspect. I also involved in the Center of Disability Service at the university. So we at the center we especially we explore ideas, we explore innovations about the service, especially for the disability persons. Yeah, it is about education and the research interests. Yeah, mostly in the development economics. As you see the QR code, you can okay, you can scan the QR code, and then it will lead us to the blog tomasoseko.blogspot.com. Okay, the content for this for today's lecture is divided into two parts: the theory and the empirical parts. Okay. Okay, because I believe you already involved in the lectures, at least from the beginning of your semester. So I believe you already know about the principle about the economics. Okay, the theory, solving the puzzle in the economy. So economic related to the how people behave with others. It is we have one interesting puzzle, especially about the pay rise, the wage rise. So everyone, if they are asked about the pay rise, they usually agree, especially the workers, they usually agree about the pay rise. Especially, for example, if you are asked, do you want a pay rise double from 7 to 5 pound sterling to 15 pound sterling? So everyone is agree. But do you want more? Do you want work the same number of hours or few hours or more? So has everyone has the difficulties to answer whether they must accept the pay rise but sacrifice the leisure time or do the reciprocal things. With the extra money, you might enjoy more leisure time, and then you can save or spend things like holidays. The question is whether higher pay would motivate you to work less or more, depending on how you value your time. On the other hand, from the employer's perspective, this could be backfire. While they might expect higher wages to encourage more work, employees might choose to work fewer hours instead, since the higher pay could meet their needs with less time spent. So, from the employer perspective, it is hard for them to allow the employee to get higher wages because higher wages means the workers will choose to do the leisure, not working, because it is nice to have a very high wage, but it is also their desire to do leisure time. Okay, this highlights the complex balance between financial incentives and personal time. Okay, the next puzzle is saving. So everyone has saving, but everyone are encouraged to save more. On the other hand, if you save more, you have less opportunity to spend more. Okay? On a personal level, how much you save depends on your income, spending habits, and how well you manage savings. But if we bring to the national level, it is securing a comfortable future, protecting against emergency, and reducing debts without interest payments. However, there is a downside to excessive saving. If everyone saves too much and spend too little, businesses will struggle because they face no more customers. They face a lower demand. They face a lower sales. So they cannot hire for workers. They cannot uh, pay them adequately, and then it is hard for the business. Okay. Okay. What do economists study? People associate economics not only with money. It is a good indicator actually how much people earn and spend, the cost of goods, business profits, and the overall money in the economy. But economists always study two things. The first is the production of goods and services. Okay. The next one is the consumption of goods and services. This is the heart of the economy, the problem of scarcity. The core issue in the economics is scarcity, which affect both individuals and countries, regardless their wealth. Okay, scarcity. From the customer side, it is related with the wants, okay, keinginan. Okay. Everyone has their wants. They want to buy anything. They want to buy goods and services, more luxury goods and services. Okay, and then your wants are vary include according to your income and taste. In poor countries, wants might include basic necessities, for example, water, education, safe housing. But in the richer nations, wants might involve a second car, maybe a more luxurious car, longer holidays, and more time with friends and family. Okay. On the other hand, we have limited number of resources. Okay, uh, this is simply because the world can only produce a finite amount of goods and services because the world has a limited number of resources. Resources, as you know, we have three kind of resources. The number one is the human resources or labor. The second is natural resources, land or raw materials, and the third is manufactured resources or capital. Labor, labor. We have limited workers in the world. We have even for the each workers, we have limited time for them to work. Okay, and then land and raw materials. Yeah, raw materials is
Dr.
limited.
Thomas, may I interrupt you for a second?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
could you please check your slide? Okay, I think they are not moving right now.
Oh, wow.
We have been looking at the same the first page the whole
Oh
time.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, okay. Sorry.
okay, and could you
How
please
about
make it
this?
bigger then? Can
Sorry.
you make the slide the whole page?
How about this?
Okay, that's much. Okay, what about the rest of you? I could see a little bit bigger than just now, and yeah, and this is the current page, I believe. Okay,
Yeah, the current page. Yeah,
sorry for that interruption.
it's okay. It's okay. Okay, now we have a limited. Okay, we have limited resources. Yeah. Okay. Um, okay. Can you move? Can you see it moves? Okay. The definition of scarcity. Now we are talking about the definition of scarcity. Yes. Scarcity is the excess of human wants over what can be produced. Because of the scarcity, various choices must be made between alternatives. Okay, because the workers, for example, have limited time to work. They work, for example, for 8 hours a day, and then they have options to work or to do leisure or to do their hobby. It is depend on the personal. Then the next important thing is about the demand and supply. Yeah, demand and supply. It is related with the how many commodities people wants and how many commodities the producers can produce in one day or one period of time. Okay? Demand is related to wants. If every good and service were free, people would simply demand whatever they wanted. On the other hand, supply is limited because it is related to resources. The amount that firms can supply depends on the resources and technology available. Okay. On the national level, we talk about the aggregate demand and the aggregate supply. For example, the supply of housing. I believe that you already prepare yourself to the future in the preparing to buy a property, to buy a house. Okay. However, the supply of the house is limited, okay? But the demand for the house is unlimited. Everyone needs house, so there are a lot of housing needed to satisfy the demand. Okay, how affordable the house? Can you imagine? Okay. Okay, home purchase affordability. The map is generated by using Numbia's property price index. The index looks at how many annual median family salaries it takes to purchase a median size apartment. Therefore, the higher the index, the most unaffordable the house are. Okay. The highest in this map, we can see the highest and the lowest area. Yeah,
Dr. Thomas, can I stop you for a second? Okay.
yeah.
Could you please make the screen as what do you call that? I don't have the word for that. Okay, but you can enlarge it so that it's a little bit bigger than that. I think you need to make it the whole screen.
Full screen like this.
Whole screen. Okay. So instead of looking at the menu, we can look at the map as well as your discussion on the
Yeah.
map right now.
Is it now better?
No, because we could see the menu on top. Okay, we need to see
Oh, okay.
and what you have written on the map as well. And
Okay,
any help
so
from the lecturers? I could see very small print on top. Okay, could you please go to view? Can you click on the view?
I will stop presenting, then I will restart the presentation. Restart now. Wait. No, I think I need help from the committee, the the MC.
Yes, that's exactly what I've been asking. Okay, maybe we can help. We can get some help from other lecturers.
Yeah.
Right, Madam Dr. Anita, can you say a word or something? Or maybe from Miza as well. Right, Dr. Thomas, could you please share the slide again? Or maybe you could pass it to another of our lecturers here, okay, so that somebody can take control
Yeah.
of the slide.
I already give the slides to Miss Aswani. Did you
Okay.
it? Hmm? How about this? Is it full screen?
Dr. Thomas,
Yeah.
who's in charge of your slide now?
Me myself.
You,
Okay.
you yourself, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe we can ask the participants, okay? Is that much better now,
Yeah.
or you want some more changes?
How about this?
This is much better than the first time.
Yeah, much better.
But we still need to.
Okay, I will stop sharing the screen so someone can do the control the slides.
By the way, Dr. Thomas, could you please share? Do you have any idea what's do they have what do you call that, minimum wages for Indonesian workers in Indonesia?
Oh yeah, okay, thank you. The minimum wage, you mean?
Mm-mm. Maybe in
In
rupiah.
Yeah, in Indonesia we have different wage for each regions. So
Okay,
every region
depends on region.
set their own minimum wage. For example, in Jakarta we have minimum wage for I'm not sure, maybe 4.5 million rupiah. And then in Malang we have 3 million rupiah. And then in other cities or in other part we have a different level of the minimum wage. The decision of the minimum wage is uh, decided by the local government, the mayor or the governor. Okay, and then
We call that pemerintah, eh?
ya
Yeah,
pemerintah
pemerintah. I see.
pemerintah menetapkan upah yang berbeda-beda.
Yeah. So
Ya.
what happens when employers don't follow the rules or the regulation?
Yeah. What happened if the employers do not follow the rule? First, they got the punishment in administrative way. They got letter from the government, and then yeah, they have to raise the wage until the minimum wage, and then if they fail to do that, they can get something like pay fine. They must pay fine to the government.
Okay, okay. I think we can continue from here. All
Okay,
right, go
then.
ahead.
Yes. Sorry for this inconvenience. And then, yeah, we have limited number of resources. And then, okay, next, please. Next slide, please. Okay, we already discussed the scarcity, and now we are entering the demand and supply, and then the maps. Okay, we have highest and the lowest house price affordability. It means that for example, for the highest unaffordable places, it is hard for the workers to afford the adequate housing because they have to spend a lot of the money during their lifetime to buy an adequate housing. The highest places, for example, in Damascus, Tehran. Oh yeah, Damascus and Tehran is the conflict areas. And then number three is Hong Kong and Shenzhen and Beijing in China. Hong Kong due to the limited land, and so the prices are skyrocketing, and then it is hard, especially for the young people, to buy houses there, including Shenzhen and Beijing, because of the economic growth, economic boom in those areas, resulting land price is very high. Manila and Shanghai, etc. Okay, how about in Malaysia? The price of median apartments from the data in Malaysia, yeah, it is relatively low and middle. It means that it is quite easy for everyone in Malaysia to get the apartment during based on this data. How about Indonesia? The color is darker than in Malaysia. It means that it is harder than Malaysia to find homes in Indonesia by using their local salary. Okay, this is related to demand and supply. Okay, next slide, please. But if potential demand exceeds potential supply, how are actual demand and supply made equal? Either demand must be reduced or supply must be increased or a combination of the two. For example, if we bring back to the housing problems previously, the problem of the unequal demand and supply related to the lack of the supply of housing. So the solution should be, for example, build more houses, build more apartments, and then provide a good facility for the customers so they can afford the housing. Okay, next slide, please. So we are now entering the differentiation between macroeconomics and microeconomics. Because scarcity exists, societies are concerned that their resources should be used as fully as possible and that over time, their national output should grow. Okay. Why should resources be used as fully as possible? If resources are saved in one time period, surely they can be used in the next period. The answer is not all resources can be saved. For example, if a worker doesn't go work for 1 week, then that resources is lost. Labor can't be saved up for the future. Okay. Now next slide. Therefore, the macroeconomic problems are related to the balance between aggregate demand and aggregate supply. If the aggregate demand is too high relative to aggregate supply, we, we will face inflation and trade deficits, for example. Inflation means that the unequal demand and supply. Not many goods are produced by the consumers, but on the other hand, they must face a very high demand. So the prices are go up, and then it is hard for the customers to find sufficient supply of demand because there are no commodities available for them anymore. Okay. On the other hand, recession is where output in the economy declines, demand less than its supply. A recession is associated with a low level of consumer spending. If people spend less, shops are likely to find themselves with unsold stock. Then they will buy less from the manufacturers. They will cut down on production and will buy fewer capital goods such as machinery. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. We talk about the policy. The macroeconomic policy, therefore, tends to focus on the balance of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. It can be focusing on the demand side policy or supply side policy. If we talk about the housing problems previously, it is related to the supply side policy. Government must intervene with the supply of the housing, for example, building more apartments. Okay, next. Now we talk about the microeconomics. Because resources are scarce, choices must be made. There are three main categories of choice must be made in any society. First, what goods and services are going to be produced and in what quantities? Since there are not enough resources to produce everything, people want. The second one is how are things going to be produced? What resources are going to be used and in what quantities? Okay. And the last one is for whom are things going to be produced? In other words, how will the country's income should be distributed? Okay. Next, please. Then because of the limited resources, so we must do choice. However, it involves an opportunity cost. Choice involves sacrifice. The more food you choose to buy, the less money you will have to spend on other goods. The more food for a nation produces, the fewer resources available to produce another goods. Okay. In other words, the production or consumption for the one thing involves the sacrifice of alternatives. Okay. Next, please. So we talk about the rational choices. Okay. Economists often refer to rational choices. This simply means weighing up the cost and benefit of an activity, whether it be firms choosing what and how much to produce, workers choosing whether to take a particular job or to work extra hours, or consumers choosing what to buy. Okay, next. So this is mostly people from outside the economics see the economics persons. Uh, Best value for money, that is the greatest benefit relative to cost. We always compare the cost and then how much benefit we can get. That's the people from outside the economics usually see us how hard we compare everything, especially cost and benefit. The same principles apply to firms when deciding what to produce. For example, should we open a new production line? So when we open a new production line in a factory, it involves a lot of costs. It requires a lot of workers, but at the same time, it can be a potential source of sales. So the company should compare the cost and benefit as well. Okay, next, please. And then this is the objectives of the microeconomics. Microeconomics is concerned with the allocation of scarce resources, with the answering of what, how, and for whom questions. How satisfactorily will these questions be answered depends on society's objective. Okay, next. Okay. Uh, in the microeconomics, we talk about the efficiency and equity. Efficiency, especially in the production, this is where the production of each item is at minimum cost. Producing any other way would cost more. And the efficiency in the consumption, this is where the consumers allocate their expenditures to get maximum satisfaction from their income. Then we also talk about the efficiency in specialization and exchange. This is where the firms specialize in producing goods for sale to customers, and where individuals specialize in doing jobs to buy goods, so that everyone maximizes the benefits they achieve relative to cost of achieving them. This is why the producer specialize in the producing specific goods. We know that we have now we have known an automotive factory, we know fashion industry, we know the newspaper or publishing companies, because they have specialization in doing that business. Similarly, we know that every person has their own profession. We are familiar with the lawyers, we are familiar with the doctors, we are familiar with the lecturers, etc., because they are specialized in this area. We also talk about the equity. Okay, equity is equity is, even though the current level of productions and consumption might be efficient, they might be regarded as unfair. Okay, some people receive more than others. So we can bring this issue to the income distribution or wealth distribution, which is the main topics of my research. Okay, next, please. Yeah, this is the principle, the main idea of the lectures today, the difference between micro and macroeconomics. So we have a table here. A common view to understanding economics states that macroeconomics is a top-down approach and microeconomics is a bottom-up approach. We have a table here which contains two columns, microeconomics and macroeconomics. In the microeconomics aspect, it studies individual income, while the macroeconomics, it studies national income. And in the microeconomics, it analyze demand and supply of labor, while in the macroeconomics, it analyzes total employment in the economy. In the microeconomics, it deals with the households and firms' decision, while at the macroeconomics, it deals with the aggregate decisions. In the microeconomics, it studies individual prices, while at the macroeconomics, it studies overall price level. In the microeconomics, it analyzes demand and supply of goods, while at the macroeconomics, it analyzes aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Okay, next. Okay, now we talk about the example in their reality, about the connectedness about the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Okay, next. Yeah. Okay, some examples related to the aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Aggregate demand curve is derived from a total consumption, investment, government spending, and net export in the economy. And then those components are influenced by the microeconomic decisions such as consumer spending, business investment, and pricing strategies. And then the labor markets, for example, microeconomics analysis of individual labor markets can help explain macroeconomics phenomena like unemployment rates. And then mm, if firms reduce hiring due to decreased demand for goods and services, that is a microeconomic decision, it can lead to higher unemployment rates and reduce consumer spending, which affect macroeconomic output and growth. Okay, next. There are two more examples. For example, inflation and pricing, and related to the policy effects. Next, please. Why we should discuss about the interconnections comprehensively? It is important because it shapes our interpretation. For example, the interpretation is required. The comprehensive interpretation is required to understand the whole problems of the economy. Okay? It is a parable, cerita tentang hewan. Ya, uh, most ethnics already familiar with the story. Uh, okay, we can read the story here. A group of blind men heard that a strange animal called an elephant had been brought to town, but none of them were aware of its shape and form. Out of curiosity, they said, "We must inspect and know it by touch, of which we are capable." So they sought it out, and what they found is they groped about it. The first person whose hand landed on the trunk, this being like a thick snake. For another one whose hand reached its ear, it seemed like a kind of fan. Okay. Another person whose hand was upon its leg. Okay. The elephant is a pillar like a tree trunk. Tree trunk. The blind man who placed his hand upon its side said the elephant is a wall. Okay. And then the another who felt its tail described as it is a rope. The last felt its tusk, stating the elephant is that which is hard, smooth like a spear, the tusk. Okay. So everyone got complete information from their side. Okay, but when we sorry, next slide, please. But when we combine their interpretations, so an elephant, it's it is a thick snake. Yes. An elephant, it is a fan. Okay, yes. A tree trunk. Okay. A wall. Yes, it is a wall. A rope and a spear. Yes. If we combine them, we can see the figure of the elephant from the partial perspective of the blind man. Okay. In the parable, a group of blind men happened upon an elephant for the first time, and they each touch one part, but only one part of the elephant. Okay, because they do not know each other, they do not have communication with others. They can build their own perspective. The parable demonstrates how individuals can make absolute truths about their own limited and subjective information, especially if they choose to recognize only their findings and ignore other microeconomic or macroeconomic information and the interaction of these factors. Okay, next please. This is the next story I found in the internet a few days ago. Uh, if you if you browse on the internet, it is called mojok.co. It explains how a poor family divides one egg for three people. One egg, just one egg for three people. Usually we eat one egg for one people, or one people maybe more than one egg. But how can one family divide one egg for three people? The title is intriguing. Omelette, a trick of the poor to cope with the hardship of lives. It is one story from the author. The author visited Wawan's family, and then in that house they are preparing to have a meal. Okay. However, there were only one egg that should be divided into uh, three peoples. How can that afternoon one was alone? Okay, we can see the story. One stick. Okay, next please. Okay, outsmarting the omelette. Okay, Wawan wanted to divide the omelettes into three portions. Okay. Okay, next please. So this is the trick using baking soda. Do you know baking soda? Baking soda or baking powder, it is quite same, but actually it is they are different. Okay? Baking soda and baking powder. And if we want to cook cake, we usually use this kind of ingredients to make the dough expand. Okay, baking powder is complete has more complete ingredients than baking soda. Baking soda only contains one chemical thing, then it less flavor, it less, but it is more powerful than the baking powder. Baking powder uh, on also contains flavor, etc. So it is less expand. It has less expanding force than the baking soda. Wawan family use baking soda to expand the egg. In the,
Dr. Thomas, can I stop you right there?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, is this story from Indonesia or somewhere else?
yeah, from Indonesia.
From
Unfortunately, Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay,
Yeah,
so the purpose of using baking soda and additional, what do you call that? Bubuk. Okay,
yeah,
this
yeah.
is to expand the size,
The egg. Yeah.
the egg. Okay, all right, continue.
It is how poor people do the trick from one egg, so can be divided into portion for three people by using baking soda. Okay. Okay. Next, please. Okay, what did it taste like? It is salty. The omelette had bubbles in its layers, and although it was larger than it should have been, its texture was worrying. The omelette had expanded to the carbon dioxide gas produced the baking soda. Okay, the author said that it is like eating a salty dishwashing sponge. Okay, yeah, because the author put some soy sauce, so the taste is better. Okay, next please.
Dr. Thomas, I have to stop you one more time. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
because I find this really interesting as well as intriguing as well. Mm. So this has no consequence in terms of health issues. Consuming consuming this what do you call that? Telur just now.
I have no idea.
You mean you have never tried this?
I never do that.
I
Yeah,
see.
because
All right. Do you call this telur dadah or telur ceplok?
yeah, telur dadar. The
Telur
omelette
dadah.
is telur dadar, and then the sunny side it is telur ceplok.
Telur ceplok. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
but because we use the powder for the cooking, so it should be fair for the
Yeah.
human, right?
Yeah. It's considered as a cooking ingredient as well.
Yeah, it is edible. Yeah, it's edible
Right.
for us.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, because the trick is quite out of sense. It is unimaginable. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
very
Thank
much.
you. And then next, after we talk about the microeconomics, we talk about the macroeconomics, especially with the economic growth. I have two graphs discussing the economic growth measured from the per capita GDP. This one is in 1960. Okay, most of the countries uh, are in the areas of 2,500 US dollar in GDP, in per capita GDP. Just few of them has per capita GDP above 5,000 or 10,000 US dollar. But on the next slide, okay, on the next slide, we can see that more countries are now in the very high position. They have more than 10,000 or more than 20,000 US dollar in per capita GDP. And then fewer of them are in the left side with less than 5,000 US dollar per capita in GDP. Okay, this suggests that while economic growth can enhance welfare, its benefit should be questioned. It can be unevenly distributed. Okay, many countries can reach better economic performance. For example, Malaysia as well. Malaysia can reach the status of developed countries in just next few years, but many other countries still in the dev- developing countries or in the poor countries status. Okay, next please. Yeah, this is the last section of this presentation. I will present the empirical paper, how the inequality exists, especially in Indonesia. If we talk about the inequality, we always talk about the how they are distributed. How to measure that condition is by using graphical terms or by using numerical aspects. In graphical analysis, we can use the Lorentz curve. In this curve, we can see that uh, the curve is the inequality means that the area between the horizontal line and the diagonal line and the curve. The bigger the area means the higher the inequality. But what happens if the area uh, has uh, located beneath the horizontal curve? For example, in this is a mathematical curve. Okay, so we should adjust the inequality measurement by using one more application of Dagum Type 3 model. In this paper, we measured the household net worth inequality in Indonesia. Okay, next, net wealth. Okay, in this paper, we measured household net wealth by calculating the monetary value of total wealth with debts deducted. Okay, wealth. It is not only about the income, which is very important, but also how people accumulate wealth, kekayaan, bagaimana aset dia, bagaimana properti dia. Okay, because we cannot inherit our income to our children or our grandchildren, but we always can inherit our property, our assets, our jewelry maybe to our children. Okay, so uh, someone who are rich, who are high in wealth, can always, can usually uh, in, have wealthy persons as well. But someone who has high income does not always has high high income children. Okay, this is the economic calculations, and then we obtain the data from the Indonesian Family Life Survey. This is microeconomics data. The data contains a lot of information about health, the demographic, and socioeconomic status of the Indonesian populations. It comprises data from 13 provinces in Indonesia. Data is collected from 1993 to 2014. Okay, so it span for more than 20 years of observations. Okay, next. Then we can see the distribution of the household net wealth from the curve. From the graphic, we can see that a lot of observations are located in the left side of the distributions. It means that a lot of people has very low household net wealth level in Indonesia, especially in 1993 and 1997 and in 2000. But in 2007 and 2014, because this is the condition after the Asian financial crisis, you remember? In 1997 or in 1998, we have a very hard condition about the financial crisis. During that time, many countries struggle to recover their economy, including Indonesia. Indonesia not only faced very hardship in the economy, but also we faced political reformation. Okay, President Soeharto just fell down, and then we did the reformation era, and then we do the general election, the direct election by the people. Okay, this brings more opportunities for the populations. It is reflected by the number of households who has higher net worth than previously. Okay, next.
Dr. Thomas, may I interrupt?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a figure in terms of what's considered as a low-income family, and as well as what's considered as high-income household in Indonesia?
Okay then. Okay. Wait. I can show you the next slides. We have the tables. Next, please. Next. Okay, stop here. And then, yeah, from the data, it is what we found from the data, the data from the Indonesian Family Life Survey. Okay, we can distinguish the household net worth by classes from decile 1 to decile 10. Okay, in 1993, the average net wealth by decile we have a 0, and for the decile 2 and negative 24,000 rupiah for decile 1. It means that even if the family has the total wealth, but the debt is higher than the total wealth, so the net wealth is negative. Okay. Yeah. From 1993 to 2014. Okay. We can see that in 1993, the richest person, the richest family has the average net wealth of 5 million rupiah, and in 1997, the richest family has the net wealth of, on the average, 13 million rupiah, and billion, yeah, 5 billion rupiah, and then in 1997, they have on average 13 billion rupiah, and so on. Okay, this is what we found from the data. Unfortunately, from the recent publication, or the government did not recognize the household net worth measurement for the inequality uh, problems in Indonesia. The government always until now always recognize the inequality from the expenditure or from the income aspect. Okay, from income aspect, for example, anyone who receive, for example, below the poverty level, they are considered as poor. Then on the other hand, anyone who receive above the poverty line are considered as not poor. It is not available for the household network aspect in Indonesia. How about that, Joe?
Go ahead.
Okay. Shall we back to the previous slides?
Okay.
Okay, wait. Next, sorry, previous slides. Okay, this is the last one. We are now in. Okay. Lorentz curve. Okay, if we bring the calculation into the Lorentz curve, we can show the inequality conditions by the curves. There are 5 curves. Ada 5 garis ya, from 1993 to 2014. They have different colors. Okay, the worst conditions was in 1993, and then the much better conditions was in 2014. The worst conditions has the biggest area. It has the farthest distance from the diagonal line. Okay, next. Okay, we already discussed this. Next, please. Okay, yeah, this is what I mentioned before. We in Indonesia, the official documents always recognize income and expenditure inequality, but not network inequality. How about the comparison between income and expenditure? If we compare net wealth or total wealth inequality, they usually have higher inequality condition than the income or expenditure conditions. For example, in 1993, the income Gini coefficient is 0.3 and the expenditure Gini coefficient was in 0.341. While for total wealth, we had 0.79 and the net worth we have 0.811. Okay, if we observe for the next years, the conditions are relatively same. The wealth inequality higher than the income or expenditure inequality. Okay, next. Okay, concluding remarks. Yeah. Now we talk about the microeconomics and macroeconomics. We saw their connection, their interconnections, and then we realized that observing or studying both of them are really important. Okay, so we now realize that the behavior of the individuals or the family, and that we can bring them to the aggregate level or the national level. While this microeconomics focuses on individual or business decisions, macroeconomics looks at the broader economic factors like national growth and inflation. Altogether, they provide a complete picture of how economics function and the challenges they face. Okay, next. Okay, this is the last slide. Thank you very much. Joe, please.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Okay. Now we have actually I have more questions than than answers. Okay, by listening to your talk just now. Okay, but that's very insightful. Thank you very much. Okay, maybe I'll start with my own question first. All right. I would like to go to. I believe that if I'm not mistaken, okay, based on your slide just now, okay, are you saying that in general poverty line goes up in terms of compared to the previous years, let's say back in 1990s? Are you saying that the majority of Indonesian are having hardship much worse than they used to be? Maybe in terms of when you compare to the parents back in the 1990s or even in the 1980s. what I'm saying is that, are the society getting much better, or they are sliding off in terms of, I would say that when we talk about in terms of income and their spending, in terms of their quality of life. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Comparison between the recent condition and the previous one, which one is poorer? I believe that it is your questions. Okay, from my research, from our research, we found that the inequality is bad is reduced over the time from 1990s to 2014. The inequality is reduced. It means that there are still exist poor people here in Indonesia, but a lot of people are getting better in terms of their wealth. A lot of people can increase their wealth level. A lot of people can be richer than before. So, yeah, yeah, not many people are poor. I don't think so. But now, more people already richer than previous one. So the poor people can increase their wealth level to the higher one. So we can eradicate the poverty level.
Okay, all right. Okay, can you relate what's the, I would say that, what would be the biggest contributor to the improvement then? Is it based on because of technology, or because of bigger population than the previous years?
Okay, thank you. But we found that it is a very complex situation about the condition of the poverty eradication. It is not only about the technology. It is not only about the higher income than before, but it is also related to the institutional. It is also related with the corruption level. It is also related with the more job opportunities available with the for the populations. For example, after the Reformation era, during the Reformation era in Indonesia, the power is not just accumulated in Jakarta, in the 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 ring of the president. It is distributed now to the regions. It is distributed to the provincial level. It is distributed to the mayor, the regency level, and then during this time, the power is bigger for them. Previously, the uh, Suharto era and the family control everything in Indonesia. We cannot we cannot get richer without their connection, without the approval from the Suharto family. But after the reformations, we can easily do business without without any relationship with the Suharto era. That is the bigger contribution for the poverty eradication in Indonesia.
If you could remind the participants, okay, what's the name of the president right after Suharto?
Oh yeah, Suharto era ended in
2000,
in 1993, said 1998. Yeah,
1998. Yeah.
and then after that we had I forgot Habibie.
Habibie.
Habibie previously was the first
Yeah, Habibie.
president. Okay, after that we entered the new era of regional autonomy. We had
Gus Dur.
Gus Dur,
Gus
yeah,
Dur.
Gus Dur. After that, we had Megawati.
Megawati.
Yeah. After that, we are entering the long period of SBY, Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. After that, we had a long era of Jokowi, 10 years period. Now, we had new presidents of Prabowo.
Prabowo.
Yeah.
So based on your discussion just now, are you saying that microeconomic factors play more important role in what do you call that? In eradicating poverty as well as level up the society?
Yeah, both of them are related. Macroeconomics and microeconomics.
Both
Uh,
of them.
Macroeconomics influence a lot for the population, but the microeconomic aspect, for example, how people behave, or how the behavior of them is also related.
Okay. Dr. Thomas, can I pick questions from the students?
Yeah, sure.
All right, okay, I'll go ahead with the first one. Okay, this is from Lydia Kistina. Lydia Kistina. Okay, let me read to you the question. Okay, what role do microfinance institutions play in improving financial inclusion for rural communities in Indonesia? Okay, if I may, let me repeat that. What role do microfinance institutions play in improving financial inclusion for rural communities in Indonesia? If I may rephrase this, this is related to the availability of small loans for people to let. Just now you were saying that after Suharto era, it's a lot easier for citizens to start business. Okay, so how do you find microfinance institution in helping people to get to improve their economy? Right, go ahead.
Okay, how to help people in rural areas to get better macroeconomics aspect for finance? Okay, Indonesia, we expand our borrowing scheme for poor people or for rural areas. They usually have limited availability. They cannot easily borrow money from the banks because they need to provide collateral, which is not available for them. They usually has houses or the properties, but because of the lack of the documents, it is illegal, for example, or the documents are simply inherited from the previous generations, so it has no paper document at all. It is impossible for them to get uh, loan from the banks, the formal banks. But in the recent decades, Indonesia expand the opportunity for them to 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 borrow money, especially for the small amount money, as long as they can provide the proof that they already established a business. For example, in the last two years, for example, as long as they can provide they open the business for the last 2 years, they can apply for the new loan.
Okay, I believe does the loan come with interest as well? Maybe lower interest rate compared to conventional banks. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Because the loan is fully supported by the government, so the scheme has the lower interest rate with no collateral at all, and then yeah, it is available for anyone who cannot afford for the formal.
Okay. Dr. Thomas, I believe this is based on what they did in Bangladesh in maybe in 1990s, based on what's the scholar's name? I think Muhammad Yusuf, the founder of Grameen Bank. Okay, and after the success in Bangladesh, it's repeated worldwide. Okay, so for example in Malaysia we do have micro loan from the government or government institution. Okay, in Malaysia we have small loan providers like INSKEN, and also Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia. Okay, this is perhaps micro loan they have this service for, let's say, what do you call that? Okay, we call that single mother, something like that. Okay, and they can start a small business like anything related to food, something small, something that you can start quickly, like food service or preparing food. Okay, and then these people they need to pay back the loan, maybe based on weekly basis, so that they want to make sure that these people can honor the loan, and after that they can ask for, once they have a good track record, they can apply for a much bigger loan so that they can expand the business. Can I move on to another question? All right, let me go to okay, let me go to all right, okay, this is from Zara. Okay, Zara Afrina. What step can a country take to recover quickly from an economic downturn? Do you get the question? Step that a country can take to recover quickly from economic downturn. That's the question.
Okay, thank you. That
All right.
is the hard question actually. It is very hard for the government to realize the economic downturn. We always had a lag, a delay from the real conditions until the the real menyadari itu ya, realizations. There are always a lag in the economics, and then the solutions is always be discussed on the round table, for example, and then analyzed by the economists, the experts, and then they had to implement the policies, and then the policies itself need time to give impact. Okay, so the lag was always happen in the economy, and then based on the experience in Indonesia as well as in other countries during the Asian financial crisis, for example, the most important thing is to keep the macroeconomics healthy. It is very essential for us. We must keep the banks in the proper conditions. We must open the investment for the foreign investors, and then we also should invite the foreign money for capital to come to our country. It is the macroeconomic aspect that usually that should be effective to help one country to recover from the crisis. Is that okay?
All right. Hopefully, Zara got the answer. The answer. Okay. All right. Do you want to limit how many more questions you would like? We would like to see then.
Nah, it is up to you. You're the boss. You're the boss.
I don't hear any word from Farah now. Okay. Hopefully, Farah is still here.
Okay.
Can I get a feedback on how many participants do we have? Because we are live on 2 platforms. Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
with me and with most lecturers from the feed comes from Gmeet, and the rest of the students, I believe, they are live from YouTube. All right, let me move on to another question. Okay, I'm not so sure if this lady was saying that. Okay, let me go to this one. Okay, I couldn't get the correct name from this guy. Okay, his name is LK, spelled as LK. Okay, if economics theory are effective, why does the world still face so many persistent problems affecting all nations? Okay, maybe this is why they call it dismal science, Dr. Thomas. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when the economics advancing their theories, their models, we still have many problems here. But the most important thing is for me, we have to realize that we are now in the social aspect, in the social science. We are not uh, intervene the close conditions in the laboratory. For example, we are touch the human side of the population. So we know that they already have their own perceptions. They know they have their own habits and behavior. So it is maybe it is takes not fully efficient results for them to implement one policy which should be efficient on the paper. Okay, we have
Dr. Thomas, are you saying that human behavior are, what do you call that? They are subjective, of course, I believe, and maybe because they are, what else can you tell me? What else can you tell us about human behavior? Maybe based on your answer just now.
yeah human behavior, and then what else? because we are not face the dead thing. We are face the human thing. We are face the living thing. We are, we must involve everyone, the community, for our policy. That is the hardest part of the social thing, the social
Yeah.
science, I think.
I guess you are saying that human beings are unpredictable
Yes, we can say that.
compared to hard science like physics, chemical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's correct.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me what's the institution interested in terms of taking care of a macroeconomic level in Indonesia?
Sorry.
What kind of institution, or maybe in Malaysia we have ministry? Okay. By the way, let me give you some ideas. In Malaysia, other than the ministry, we have Ministry of Economy, and then we call it another ministry. We call it Kementerian Kemajuan Desa dan Wilayah, KKW. Okay, they are supposed to be in charge of taking care of rural areas. All right, rural areas, so that we could see they should be on par development with developed states like Selangor, okay, Selangor or Kuala Lumpur. And then there are departments like Economic Planning Unit as well under the government of Malaysia, Economic Planning Units. And there are also, I think they call it, maybe not directly under government, we have like MARA. Okay, MARA is an institution more towards they help more towards the, what do you call that, Bumi Putra, they call it. Okay, the Bumi Putra. All right, then we have of course for Muslim we have Zakat institution, maybe based on the state. Okay, other than that they have I'm not sure whether you are familiar, Felda. Felda is supposed to develop rural areas specifically for farming, like maybe we have this in Indonesia as well. I believe Indonesia is the biggest palm oil producer in the world. Okay, maybe Malaysia is right behind in Indonesia. Okay, so Felda is in charge of plantation. Okay, plantation. Also Risda, Khazanah, as well as NGOs. Okay, so what about Indonesia?
Yeah. Uh, Actually, we Indonesia and Malaysia must have similar things in the institutions. We also have Ministry of Rural Areas for rural developments. We also have Agency of Development Planning. We also have Ministry of Infrastructure. Then yeah, a lot of things. But the the unique thing about the Indonesia is even though we have so many ministries, but the role of the local government is very important. Local government, whether it is government level or the regency, the regency and the mayoral, the city level. It is very crucial in Indonesia. I can say that they can produce, they can make their own regulations, they can earn their own money, they can find new sources for their development for the regions, which is still in under regulation by the central government. So we can see that Indonesia has different level of the development. Java Island is more developed than the others area, and then we can see the areas with the rich of natural resources. For example, in Kalimantan Timur is Kalimantan or is Borneo, and then in Riau, in Kepulauan Riau province, they are rich of natural resources from the oil and gas and the palm oil plantations, and then more money go to the local government. So it should be helpful for them because they have a lot of natural resources. They can control, they can manage the money easily for them. Not always depend from the local, from the central government.
But by the way, Dr. Thomas, what do we call, if I'm not mistaken, we always refer to the local government as pemerintah. Pemerintah. Okay, do we have
Yeah.
name for that? What do we call that?
local government, we can say that pemerintah lokal, pemerintah lokal, the for the provincial level, the gubernur,
Gubernur.
and then kabupaten, and then kabupaten it means regency,
Regency.
and then kota means city.
Okay. So you are saying that different cities have different laws and regulation.
Yeah, they can produce their own laws
Laws.
and regulations.
Okay. All right. I'll pick up. Maybe this is okay. Sorry. Last question from the students. Okay. Maybe late after that, I have one or two more questions as well. All right. Maybe let's go to. I have. All right. This is from Ain Izati. Okay. Ain Izati. What is the relationship between macroeconomic stability and poverty reduction in developing economies? Do you get the question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Go ahead.
you. What is the relationship between macroeconomic stability and poverty reductions?
Correct.
This is the most important thing in the poverty eradication policies. We cannot reduce the number of poor people without the stability in the economy. Stability in the economy, for example, is shown by the maintain or the low inflation rate from the very stable interest rate, for example. Without those conditions, businesses cannot easily expand, businesses cannot easily invest to new things or new areas because they are afraid to do the next stage, because they are afraid they cannot repay the loan, for example. Those conditions are essentials. So by using the low interest rate, for example, businesses can make new investment, so they can hire more people, more workers to do the job, and then they can produce effectively, and then they can produce the commodities to the population and hire new sales agency maybe, and then provide more goods and services to the people so they can buy new things for the needs, for example. And then, that is the important part of the economy. We should maintain the stability in the macroeconomics so poor people can enhance their living condition. Is that okay?
Yeah. Hopefully that's answered the question. Okay, from Miss Izati. Now I am opening up the platform for. Do we have specific questions from lecturers as well? Okay, we have Madam Azlina, Dr. Anita, Miza. Okay, can I hear voices of the students? The students lecturers. Anyone, please? Maybe you can type as well, or you can turn on your microphone. Right. Dr. Thomas, I don't think Java is having. This is not what do you call that? This is not rainy season in Indonesia. Is that correct?
The rainy season is now happen in Java Island, especially in Malang area. Yeah.
I see. Okay. If I can relate to you as well as the participants. Okay. Last year I was in KL, and I went to one big shopping mall in KL. Okay, it's called Pavilion. Okay, and to my surprise, it was I believe it must be June or July. All right. To my surprise, there are plenty of people around me. They look just like Malaysian, and I cannot tell if they are Malaysian or not. But then I heard they were speaking Indonesia. Okay, and what's so interesting is that Indonesian, they speak Bahasa Indonesia. So regardless of their facial features, okay, they might look like Indian, or they might have Chinese features, okay, but they speak Bahasa Indonesia, and they have family with them. People from different ages. And what's so interesting is that these people, I believe it must be. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, it was June or July last year, and they went shopping in Malaysia. So I would say that they are well-off families, okay, because they could as well easily shop in Jakarta. They have fine shopping areas in Jakarta as well as in Bandung, in Jogja, in other parts, okay. And to my surprise, they come and shop in Malaysia. So maybe that's like a shop trip, like a week or something like that. So okay, from that, I can ask your opinion as well, okay. Do you think by the way, guys, ladies and gentlemen, okay, student as well, Indonesia is one of the, I would say, one of the biggest exporters of workers to the worldwide, okay. Maybe based on your report as well, we have plenty of Indonesian regardless of education levels. What else? Family background, okay, they are in Saudi Arabia, Arab countries, Middle East, Hong Kong, Japan, European countries, North America, South America, okay, and definitely Malaysia, of course, okay. Malaysia, we cannot progress without this. In Indonesia, we call it, is that TKA, Dr. Thomas?
TKI.
TKA, okay.
TKI, yeah.
And okay, what happened is that students, these people, they bring in money from overseas to Indonesia. So maybe, Dr. Thomas, does this help to reduce poverty, because these family members, they are still in productive ages? All right, they go outside and they send money to the family, and actually it helps in terms of sales of products in Indonesia. All right, Dr. Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This is relevant with my research now. We had we currently doing a research with the Saga, with our partner Saga University of Japan, and doing the research relating to the economic impact and the benefits of the training of Indonesian workers who already uh, uh, went home to Indonesia. They are trainees. Pekerja magang. Okay, they just training to Japan for 2 or 3 years, and then they can extend the contract or simply go back to Indonesia. And then we want to know to what extent the experience of the training, the experience of living in Japan is beneficial for them in terms of the economic, in terms of the money, in terms of the financial, how much they're saving from the training periods, and then in terms of their expertise and skills, in terms of the relationship with the Japanese companies, as well as the culture, the good behavior, the good habit they build upon their living in Japan. It is a multi-years project. We are now in the second year project out of 3 years. So we just find um, initial fundings. Then we expect to produce a few papers in the next years. What I can say to you is living overseas is beneficial to the individuals. It helps us to build our good habit. It helps us build our connections. It helps us to build knowledge. And then, besides the financial aspect, it is also helpful for us to build the technical aspects for the individuals. So, while Indonesia is sending a lot of workers overseas, while when they go back to Indonesia, it is it is helpful for them, for the family, and also for the nation, uh, because they can earn uh, money and then save the money and then to buy property in Indonesia or in hometown, to buy a piece of land maybe, and then to build new house for the parents, and then to establish the business, to open the small shop maybe, or open the small business for them. Yeah, it is what we in Indonesia now. We should not rely on hard worker persons. We should focus sending people who are skilled workers. For example, as a nurse, as a engineer, as a driver, maybe. We should not rely on uneducated or unskilled workers. So they can earn higher income, so can save more money, and then while they go back to Indonesia, they can save, they can contribute more than the unskilled workers.
Okay, Dr. Thomas, from the same discussion, okay, do you think these take care A, they have skill from Indonesia first before they move out to the country? Okay, that's the first question, okay? And the second question is that, are they coming back to Indonesia, or they are calling foreign countries as their home forever? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. TKI, Tenaga Kerja Indonesia, Indonesian Foreign Workers. Okay, we had the first status of the TKI. We have they who are uneducated, they are who are unskilled. At the same time, we have skilled workers, for example, like nurse or something else. They are categorized as a TKI. So we refer which TKI who are unskilled or uneducated. It is hard for us. We cannot easily decide their status, especially because of the land border between Indonesia and Malaysia, or sea border between Indonesia and Malaysia. It is easy. It is always have a chance for the illegal workers to cross the border from Indonesia to Malaysia. No, no paper, no regulations, and no identifications. That's why it is hard for the government to control them. Unfortunately, because of their legal status, they cannot easily crossing the border for holiday or for formal reasons through the formal borders. So it is untrackable. We cannot easily track them like that.
Okay, all right, okay. Personally, okay, Dr. Thomas and the rest of you participants, I myself, I met several mates, Indonesian mates working in Malaysia, and my sister's mate, when she went back to, I believe, Jogja, something like that. Okay, after 15 years of service, 20 years of service, definitely they were bringing back lots of Malaysian money to Indonesia. Okay, and they could pay off the house. They can start something like a grocery store. Okay, they can buy land as well. And this year, I went to my friend's house in, I would say, a well-off area in KL, and they have a maid, Indonesian maid, a young Indonesian maid. She's not even married, like less than 20 to 30 years old. And to my surprise, the family is paying her 1,600 ringgit per month. 1,600 ringgit per month. That's quite equivalent to 400 US dollars. And to give you some ideas, okay, Dr. Thomas, Malaysia is about to raise the minimum wages in Malaysia next year from 1,500 to 1,700. And these Indonesian maids, okay, they already are making bigger than what's the minimum wage of Malaysia right now. That's very interesting for me. Okay, so maybe if you come to Terengganu, the maid, what do you call that? The should I call it price? Okay, the cost of hiring a maid is much less than that. I would say that in Terengganu, maybe about 1,000 or just a little bit above 1,000. Okay, it's far compared to KL market price 1,600. And on top of that, definitely the family have to pay other expenses as well, in terms of paper, as well as what do you call that? Maybe in terms of health of the maid as well. All right. So I have one question from from Dr. Anita. Dr. Anita, okay. This is one of our lecturers. Interest rate for microfinance is always higher than traditional bank. Oh, sorry. This is okay. I missed the question. Okay. I'm not sure.
Can I ask straight
Oh,
away
sure,
now?
sure. Go ahead. You have the mic. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Studies actually have suggest like public debt and household debt are the major contributors to various problems. And we are talking about interest-based public debt. And actually, the interest on debt is stripping the government's, businesses, individuals of their wealth. What is your perspective on this?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Dr.
Okay.
Thomas, did you get the question, or you need Dr. Anita to repeat?
Now, our economy is actually driven by interest-based debt, be it public debt and also the household debt. Okay, so now researchers have shown that these interest-based public debt and household debt, you can check out all nations, their debts are mounting. Okay, in Malaysia, individual debts itself is 1.3 trillion, if you're not mistaken, and our government debt is also trillions. I suppose that Indonesia also, their debt trillions amount in US dollar. So now the interest on that is actually stripping the governments, businesses, and individuals of their wealth. This is the major problems of various economic problems, where most economists do not realize. What is your perspective on this?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Anita, I believe, yeah. And public debt and individual debts or household debts. It is an important part of the economy because from our previous papers, we saw that the existence of individual debts or the household debts can reduce the amount of total wealth. It is, even though we earn money, we can buy houses, buy vehicles or cars maybe, but while we have individual debts or the household debts, it is actually reduce our ability to maintain our economic stability during the financial crisis. For example, during financial crisis, when we face low income, we face we face low income, and then at the same time we still must pay our expenditure. So there are two things we can do to solve the problems. First, we borrow money, then we take our savings. But the next thing we can do is to sell our asset, to sell our property, to sell our cars. It is not possible for us if we have the debts, because we still have the obligation for the people who gave the loan for the banks, because it is still belong to them. So the existence of the individual debts and the household debts is important to everyone, because it is reduce our ability, it is reduce our financial ability to deal with the economic condition, which is often face a financial hardship during that condition. Similarly, for the government debts or public debts, it is also very important, because government debts also can enable the governments to expand the business, expand the infrastructure, build more infrastructure, but at the same time, we are tied to the regulations set by the giver, the debtor, yeah, people who give
The lenders.
the lenders. Okay, it makes us less flexible to do the infrastructure development, for example. But yeah, because we had limited amount of resources, we had limited amount of fund available for the development. It is the best possible way for us, for the government to make the public debts, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, for the answer.
No worries.
Right, Dr. Anita. Hopefully that's answer. Hopefully that answer your question. Okay, I believe Dr. Anita has plenty more questions. Okay, but we have limited time. Okay, MC, are we supposed to end by 11 o'clock? MC, you need to
Yes.
turn on your mic. Yes, okay, we have few more minutes, all right? So what I could find from here, okay, hopefully we have, MC, Miss Farah, can you tell me how many participants we have altogether?
Our current participant is 233 students.
233. Did we reach 300 earlier? Did we have...
No.
we have the same number, just a little bit less than 300. Okay, so I believe this is a big number. This is a big number still. All right. So, Dr. Thomas, thank you very much. You have been very insightful in bringing up plenty of topics. Okay, if I catch them correctly, we talk about resources scarcity. Okay, role of microeconomics and macroeconomics, role of the government as well, and then in terms of managing resources and being more productive. Okay, what else did I miss? Okay, and we I could say that we are serumpun, Dr. Thomas. Serumpun meaning that plenty of things that's happening in Indonesia, we could see similar effects in Malaysia as well. I believe this is true. I remember you mentioned Asian financial crisis '97. Okay, if I remember correctly, it started in Thailand, and then it spread throughout Southeast Asia, including Indonesia, and Malaysia is definitely affected as well. Right. So hopefully this is not your last meeting with us right here in this webinar, and maybe we could invite you for more insightful sharing session again. And maybe Ms. Farah, we could remind students as well, you have to join another survey, okay, exit survey. Just now did you join from your QR? That's your entry survey. And if I'm not mistaken, you have exit survey as well. All right. Anything else from other lecturers, if I may hear some words? Or should I pass right away to Farah? Farah? Okay, Dr. Thomas, thank you very much. Now, let me give it to Farah then. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you to our panel guest speaker, Dr. Thomas Soseko, for sharing your knowledge about the role of microeconomics and macroeconomics, and also to our moderator, Mr. Azizul Azhan Hussein. Attention to all students. Kindly be reminded that all students are required to fill out the program evaluation form. This is mandatory for all participants. The evaluation form is designed to gather your feedback on the program. Please access the form using the following link on the chat box. Now, we will proceed with the photography session. This session will include our panel, moderator and lecturers. We will begin shortly.
Right, ladies, betulkan makeup tudungnya dulu. Make sure you are lights are not behind you, okay? So lights dari tepi atau dari depan, bukan dari belakang. Right? So who's the camera person? Farah? Who's the camera person? So you need to give us some guidance. Dr. Anita, camera please.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
With that, we have come to the end of this talk, the role of microeconomics and macroeconomics in development. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to all the students who have been with us, contributing to the success and vibrancy of this event from beginning to end. We would also like to extend our deepest appreciation to our honored guest speaker, Dr. Thomas Soseko, for sharing his invaluable knowledge with us today. A heartfelt thank you to our moderator and all the lecturers for your support and guidance. We will also like to apologize for any mistakes or shortcomings that may have happened throughout the event. Thank you once again, and we wish you all the best. Attention to all students, the attendance links will not be provided. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas.
Have a nice weekend.
Yes. Thank you, all the lecturers as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe.